First of all, congratulations on a fantastic film. Not
Thanks.
only is it heartwarming and moving, but it's incredibly graphic and hilarious. It was brilliant.
Cool, thanks.
I was just wondering, how difficult was it to move between the comedic and the slightly darker scenes when you was filming from a director's point of view and from an actor's point of view?
Well, I think most of my storytelling is that kind of way. It goes from comedy to dark to violent, back to comedy again, to sad even. Like in Bruges had that sadness and comedy and then violence all in one. So it's for me it's very natural, but I guess the through line that we as a team, for instance, are always looking for is just the truth of a line, whether or not it's a comedy line or something that's darker, which is like, is that true to the scene? Would he say that at that time? So it's easy to maneuver it when you're kind of aiming for that, I think.
Yeah, I think that that's just something that I take great pride in, is kind of trying to surprise the audience, and he's providing that canvas for me, or that he's providing that playground for me to play in, and I think to be having the audience laughing one moment and then scaring them another moment within, like that is I think that's the fun of it, the challenge of it.
Actually, in some ways, like we had almost more comedy stuff throughout. Like there was a lot more in the desert sequence where they all end up.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can just have too much comedy or too much anything, so the scenes were great, but it just felt like, here's another fun scene and here's another. So that, in a way, had to be molded down so it didn't feel like it dragged.
Yeah.
I heard you actually wrote this story before you wrote and directed in Bruges. Was there a reason why you decided to wait and hold off on this one and make In Bruges first?
It was written just after I wrote the script of In Bruges, but before I made it. So I felt In Bruges was, because it was a smaller kind of story, it had only like 3 main characters, and this was just so much more gigantic in terms of flashback and types of storytelling, and just the cast of characters too. I felt like it was just too much to get my head around as a first-time filmmaker. So that was kind of the main reason, I think.
And Sam, you're known for playing quite eccentric characters. I was just wondering, do you actively seek out these roles, or do you find people have these roles in their scripts and just think, Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, we just come to you.
I think I've played a lot of. I've actually played a couple of normal people, but there was movies that nobody saw.
Yeah, disasters, box office disasters.
But yeah, no, I think they find me and I find them, and I think I'm drawn to dark material. Yeah.
The story centres around somebody writing a screenplay about 7 psychopaths, and he's having quite a hard time. So he takes inspiration from people in his life to be able to complete his script. I was wondering, obviously it's quite an easy question for you because you wrote the script, but is there anybody in your real lives that you would take inspiration from?
For psychopaths?
Psychopaths.
Oh, sure. I think we've all met psychopaths at one point or another. I don't even know if we could name who they are.
Yeah, for me it's more about, it's not drawing from real life, but just thinking what would be the most psychotic thing to do in that situation. And then if you got another psycho, how would he react to that thing? So it's more, coming up with it from a blank page, and the fun of that, like fun of having you set up against Woody Harrelson's psychopathic character, who are psychos in 2 very different ways too.
Yeah.
What happens when the scariest guy in the world isn't scaring someone?
Yeah.
That dynamic is kind of interesting.
When you wrote the script, did you have specific actors in mind for the characters?
I had a little bit of Sam's voice because I always wanted to work with Sam when I was writing the script. But no, and Colin, I loved him when we worked on In Bruges, and we always wanted to do something together again. So that was simple too. But and strangely, like Woody, I'd known him for a few years, so he was like a perfect choice, and he was fantastic. Christopher was in a play that me and Sam did together on Broadway a few years ago. So it was kind of like working with family on day one of the shoot. Tom Waits, I almost did a musical play with him a few years ago. But everyone just knocked it out of the park. Everyone was both funny and scary and had moments of sadness throughout. So it was a dream cast, and they all pulled it off brilliantly.
Yeah, it seemed like you had great chemistry on set. How did that kind of portray offset? Were you guys all...
Everybody hated each other. No, we got very lucky. It was a really good group, and we goofed around, and we also worked very hard. And it comes from the top down, you know. I mean, he's got a great temperament. And that helps when you have just a good bedside manner from the director. And then the actors were all... There were no upstarts. It was very smooth sailing. Funny enough, we were able to do serious work and have goofy times. It's good.
And Sam, obviously,
yeah,
you are used to playing these kind of characters. But what kind of preparation do you do before starting the role?
Well, I work with an acting coach, and I work very hard. Time helps when you have time to prepare. And in this case, Martin and I worked very closely with each other. And we rehearsed quite a bit, actually, for a film. I think it was a luxury to rehearse as much as we did. It's not maybe as much as you would for a play, but it's, yeah. So, you know, I just try to make sure no rock is unturned when you're preparing. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time. That's absolutely fantastic.
Right, cheers.
And
Thanks
lovely to meet you guys both.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Hi, is this your dog?
Oh my God. Oh, I have to pay you. Thank you so
Are you
much.
serious?
And how's everything in the dog kidnapping business? Did you get a new dog?
Where were you walking him, Charisse?
I always loved Bonnie like he was my own child.
One, I do not want that image in my head. Two,
Could you go get my dog back?
what the hell happened?
Some punks jumped us.
Who are you?
Said they were looking for a little Shih Tzu. Then some other punk killed those punks. It's their blood. It's his puke.
You want to go to the bathroom, clean some of the blood and the puke off you?
I almost got killed today because you kidnapped the wrong dog.
Are you being serious?
Wow. What are we gonna do?
We could take on all the bad guys, maybe in the desert.
And what do you think we should do in real life? How you doing? What's your name? Shut up.
My dog's gonna end up killed.
You gonna cry?
You've got to give it back.
Give it back? I ain't gonna give back Shih Tzu.
Put your hands up. No, but I've got a gun. I don't care. Doesn't make any sense. Too bad. Are you mad at me for something, baby?
Why would I be mad at you, Marty?
Your women characters are awful.
You waiting for somebody, old guy?
No.
Okay, you seem normal. Come on in. We gotta get this dog off the street because it's kidnapped from a maniac.
Dandy. I like it. It's got layers.
I'm sick of all these stereotypical Hollywood psychopath movies. How about we change the title from The Seven Psychopaths to The Seven Lesbians, who are all disabled and they're really nice to everybody, and two of them are black.